Hey, Fitzy here, back at it again with another one. It's springtime here now, and it's a good time as ever to go for a little stroll in the woods. Not going go fishing, not going hunting moose or rabbits. I'm going hunting old iron. Stick around. Before we get started, I just wanted to fill everybody in on what is going on here. Um, Basically, in Newfoundland, for many, many years, we never had recycling. We never had anything where we could actually dump cars. Our local dumps would not accept cars. It cost a lot of money to remove stuff. There was nowhere to put them. Recycling wasn't in the cards. It never showed up here till, I say, mid to early 80s. And up until that point, there was nowhere to dump the cars. And every community in Newfoundland spread out over a large area. Like most of Newfoundland is uninhabited, okay? We're made of a whole bunch of communities that are around the coastlines and spread out throughout Newfoundland. And there's a lot of land that is called crown land owned by the government. Only a very small portion of the island is actually inhabited by towns and cities and stuff like that. And what ended up happening was a lot of the small towns and cities had nowhere to put this old stuff. And usually what ended up happening, there was locations just on the outskirts of each town, down over the embankment, and over an old gravel road. All the old cars used to get dumped, okay? There was locations that I remember were well over 300 to 400 cars that have been abandoned. This one here that I'm at here today, this has been here now, I'd say, since the 50s. It was a local dumping ground. It cost you money to get rid of stuff. And this is where the stuff used to get dumped. Now, in the mid-80s, a lot of it got cleaned up. Only the deep stuff that's really deep in the woods or hard to get to was left, namely the 50 stuff and earlier. So there's still some of it around. I spent a lot of time looking for this stuff growing up. This is where I got started in cars. Some of you may have asked, how did you get started? I come across a piece of steel in the woods when I was a kid. I was about 13 years old. And I started rummaging through the woods. And the more I looked, the more I found old cars. Then, from then to this day, I've always dreamt about building something from the woods. The truck patches, that is actually built from the woods in Newfoundland. Parts of that truck come from in this location in here. And, it's something I've always wanted to do since a young kid. When I went to some of these scrap yards, there was 300 and 400 cars there, and you dreamed about taking something out of the woods and rebuilding and putting it on the road. It's just something you done as a kid, and it's what got me started in the whole fabrication end of it, because I realized living in Newfoundland, stuff rusts really bad, okay, and it was hard to find stuff. The early stuff usually was in decent shape, but all I could usually say was shapes and stuff like that. So that's where patches come in. That's made up of everything. But I could find a corner of a roof or anything like that. That's how I made it. But what I'm going to do here today now is the shop is moving along pretty good. I'm doing some stuff now in the shop that seems to be a bit tedious and is not good content. And I'm just trying to get it all set up and basically give you guys something that you can watch here today. I'm trying to keep the videos rolling. So it was a nice day, spring days, 2 or 3 degrees today. So I said to myself, now I haven't gone for a romp in the woods in a lot of years. I've done this for over 30 years, for sure, since I've been 13 anyway. And I'm 54 now. But I haven't done this in a while, and it's a good exercise. And I just went around and found 2 or 3 locations just in around St. John's where this old stuff has been left to return to the earth, I should say. A lot of history here. I spent a lot of years in these places getting parts. Me and my buddies making trips out of it. So, it's cool stuff to see. It's maybe not for you guys because most of you guys are dealing with rust-free cars and stuff like this. But for me to find the remnants of an old 40s car, no matter how rough it was in the woods, it was cool. So I'm going to take you guys along now, and we're going to ramp around and look at some of this stuff. So I hope you enjoy it. What we have here looks to be probably a 73 Pinto. I'll have to come back and get that front end. I've known about this one for years. Even got springs still in it. And stroll down through here. As you can see, there's remnants all over the ground here. A lot of stuff is grown in because this type of mentality has changed. So it's not as, you don't see people doing it no more because we have recycling now. But if you look up here in the embankment here, as you can see, the sun doesn't glare in. The entire embankment is a backfill of old steel. Looks to be the remnants of a early 60s Pontiac. You can tell by the quarter panel on it. That's a lot of fun. Used to be at this too when you're out and about. You see the way this body line goes here. You'll be trying to guess them. This one over here looks to be like an old International pickup truck. But this is the time of year to be looking at all this stuff, because fall of the year you're dealing with leaves. Look, perfect piece of glass there on the ground there. Someone took it out one of the rigs there. But this spot is like 5 minutes from my house. I say it's here since the 60s when they first started dumping stuff. And people are going to ask, why would you dump it? Why don't you bring it to your local dump? Well, I'm about an hour outside of St. John's by highway. Well, 20 minutes, half hour. But back in them days, it would have been an hour to 2 hours run. So to dispose of a vehicle was not something that was easy to do. A lot of people burned their own garbage. Okay. And a lot of communities had dumps like this. It's the way things were. People didn't, think nothing of it. I see the remnants of a Mustang there, look. Quarter panel section of a 60s Mustang. And you can't even recognize anything else that's around here. Doors and grills. There's a whole car right here. You can see the front of it here. There's a roof. There's a whole car going back through this here and these bushes and this sod and rock. As you look around here now, there is no greenery. Doesn't look like much. But like you can look out through here and off in the distance you can see my truck. By the time summer rolls around, you won't even be able to see through all this. All this stuff will go hidden again. So let's check out another spot now. There's the road there. Make our way into the trees here now. 30s headlight. Trees have certainly grown up since I've been in here last. I don't know if you can hear the highway and the roads around us, but this is we are basically just in the middle of the city here now, on the outskirts to the back of the city more. But there was a time this was deep outside of St. John's. Let me get a pathway to get around some stuff here. This is probably, I'd say, one of the oldest dumping grounds that I've found. I'd say this one here was put here in the early 50s and has withstood the test of time all these years later, and the remnants are still here, but it gets better. As we talked before about embankments and hills and stuff like that, this here falls off as it goes down here. There's no walking trail. Here you have some. A lot of 30s and 40s stuff in here. Hard to recognize it. But these are the places that I used to enjoy coming to. I still do. And all in through these trees down along here, there's spots where there's other wrecks throughout all this area. Now you gotta understand that all these trees are probably, I don't know, 30, 40 years old. So this was all a field at one point, and everything was pushed. I'm standing at the bottom of the hill, and up here is the hill, and all this was pushed down off the hill. This would have been in a part of the city that nobody was occupying, and still ain't, which is amazingly enough. The highway is behind us here. There's a roadway behind us here. There's a full development over here, and a full development over here. So we're surrounded. I say it's only a matter of time before they do get in here. More stuff there. Sorry for the breeding, boys. I'm getting old. Look at that, that's nice. Nice round fender. With the typical repairs done with it. Yeah. And the grill is still here. Old Dodge truck grill. But here's the spot here that I remember the most. Everything crunches underneath your feet here because there's so much stuff. There's an old grill, an old chassis, off probably 40s Dodge, I'd say. X frame here. Now, pretty well every bit of this stuff is not even worth time and effort to take out of here, because this stuff is pretty thin. Right, the top section's still solid though. Now you think about that piece of steel that's been sat here, I'm willing to say this here since the 50s, okay? Sat in this very spot. But you can see the way stuff rusts. And the frames though, the way they've rusted out over the years. It's rust. It's typical Newfoundland rust. But this stuff here has been here a lot longer than most. Did a bit more strolling around. '53, '54 Chev. There's the remains of it there. Two-door. Oh, maybe Pontiac. Could be Pontiac. No dash. I can see the remnants of part of a dash there. That's what it could be, a Pontiac. Old tin shack. There's a quarter piece. Into some 60 stuff here now. Race car! Got racing stripes on her. Old AMC. You can tell by the front end. Look right through trees and see the trunnion style front end with the spring above the upper control arm. There's an AMC, possibly a Hornet. The big wheel lip in it. Toyota! Sad I can recognise that, huh? Looks to be an old Fury of some sort right here. I used to enjoy at this all the time. I haven't done it in a long time. It's been a number of years since I've done it. We used to make road trips of it. We rummage around, see what we can find. Half the fun was identifying it. Grand bit of exercise. You'd be amazed at what stuff you can find. Oh, look at that. There's moose in the neighborhood somewhere. Moose droppings. What was that now, boys? Looks to be Dodge, I'd say. Set of mounts on the front of it. Yeah. Let's see who can identify that motor. There's Tower Power over there. Slant 6 looks to be. Old mid-70s two-door wagon. Very interesting. What could that be now, I wonder? See the back end of it there? Could be Subaru. So I'm thinking it could possibly be. Look. General 60s, look. Many of them burnt off cars in the years. Scatter burnout done on that one. Just another angle of that pile. Looks to be 1, 2, 3 cars here. All from the same era. Mid-40s, I'd say. Is there anything salvageable? Control arm is rotted out of it. The other one, the spring pocket is gone. Chassis rail's gone under there. You won't get much on these. There's not much there at all, I can guarantee you that. Left on these. Okay. All I got down to was all the interesting shapes like on the roofs. This is all bashed down, I'm on you. But I've returned to these spots over the years and picked through it. It's been a long time now. It's been picked clean. That is what you call a squat bug. Square bumper, so it's later model. It's got the wide edge along the bottom. Don't come to a point like the earlier ones. Just little things you got detail with to identify what it is. That kept some child happy at one time. Little handlebars going along here. The forks, and there's the front wheel with the pedals on it. Okay, that's it for that spot. Let's make our way back to the truck and see what else we can find. All this section here is an on-ramp now. At one time this was all an open field. There's no businesses around, or none of that was up here. These businesses up here, none of them were here. All this here was just wooded area, and way up past that building there, all this here used to be full of old cars in along here, down to these trees in here, and I think the original pile that I found when I was 13 are still in here. All them years later, it's quite interesting to know that when I found this place, I was about 13 years old, and what I found was a Volkswagen fender. And if you look around you, you can see the trees all around me. So I'm going to make my way in through these trees now, see what I can find. That has seen better days. Boy, it's one of them Volkswagen wagon things. I don't even know, they got a number on them. And behind that, you can barely see it in the trees there. That's about a 78 Chrysler Newport wagon. And I can remember this here was all opened up. This was shoved down off a hill when I found all this. Wild. A tree fell right on top of her. Any bit of firewood. They got her cut out in her, so let's stroll around. I got my bearings, I know where I'm to now. Where this car was to was on the edge of a large dump field. We used to have close to 300 cars in around the area, all scrapped, and then there was more stuff over this way. And the spot that I'm looking for, I think, is down here. So I'm going to make my way down here. That's the remnants of a 50s car. Looks to be, I'm thinking, 49 to 54 Chev. No, earlier than that, it's got a hood vent. Yeah, it's got a hood vent. Right there. Old 50s Buick. Full chassis. Looks to still be there. It's half solid. Oh, I see rust on the other side over there. Let me put this for a bumper. There's the front of her. Got teeth in her, look. The remnants of an old Buick. Only feet from the highway. Hard to see, trees are thick. Looks to be a 60s Ford. I'm wondering about that though. Trying to get a handle on the setup in it, because it's a unitized frame car, so it's a mid-size car. Two doors over there. Quite interesting. I've been in here now close to an hour rummaging through this place, and I came here a lot. There's one particular spot I always return to. Now, I was told it was cleaned up, and I went looking for it, and I can't find it. It had a layout to it, and it had a path going down to it, and I couldn't find either one of it. And I'm just in here rummaging through the trees now just to see what else I can find to make some content out of it. And I was kind of hoping to find that spot, but it looks like I'm out of luck. They must have really cleared everything out. Well, back on the road again. That spot is long gone. I was kind of looking forward to finding that today, but that's it. I'm going to head on now to another spot. This is where I found the starting piece for patches. Up here, I suppose, there's some stuff left. And that's what it is when you get old. All the stuff you remember is just long gone. But we're going to check it out anyway. Let's hit the trail. Some people hunt in the woods for rabbits, moose, go to their favourite fishing hole. Me, I hunt for old iron. Sometimes you just walk along the trail and look into the trees and there's a door just leaning up against a tree, all by itself, nothing else around. Again, this spot used to have a lot of vehicles in it, and of course in the early 80s they cleaned a lot of it up. The highway that I just come in off of, that was only put there probably 15-20 years ago, and no, all this in here is wilderness. So what do we have in here? I want to say Ford. Yep, front sump base pan, oil filter, 289 or 302. I'd say it had 9 inch in the back of it, and that's gone. She's mint! Look at her! I've done this type of walk every spring for many years, and a lot of times it was me. I was always dreaming up something that I wanted to build, and I was always looking for parts, and I remembered where stuff was too. And I'd go hunt out that spot looking for those parts and steal something home. But it's 5-6 years since I've been in here, and it's grown right in. It's a bit of a walk. It's probably about a 15-20 minute walk in off the highway, but I need to exercise. What do you think, guys? Out in nature, it's a beautiful day out, the sun is shining, breaking out through the trees here. Got to have these rubber boots on in this stuff. Holy blessed. You can just look at the way everything's beat down here. Look. I say there was an awful lot of water come rushing through here at one time to winter. You can see it coming down through the trees there. One thing we got here is a lot of water and rocks. Look, boys, I found that 62 Rhodes Canardly. I can't even recognize this thing. She's squat. Looks to be, there's a 2-door. Yeah, X-frame. Ford, want to say? Mercury? Yeah, the taillights in it, look. Mercury style taillights in it. You can tell by the indentation in the bottom of the door. Over here. Very cool. You can see the indent in the bottom of the door. Yeah, someone cut the back chassis out of that one at one time or another. But it's totally amazing when you look at this here, being in the woods all these years, and the shape that that's in, and the X-frame there. If it's not in the elements, or the leaves can't fall on top of it, much the same as all this stuff here, it just rots right out. It's hard to get a chassis. I'll have to drag a scattered frame out of in here. Let's see what else we can find. The remnants of an old Ford pickup truck. How much left to her? Now we're starting to come across a few things. A few things on the side of the road. Old box off a Dodge pickup, looks like. Short box too. Hard to see. Goes in through there. But if like looking lighter around here, there's stuff scattered throughout the trees and everywhere. Right. In through there. In through there. We'll go in there now in a minute. There's even some stuff over here. Just wandering through here. That'll be, look at that over there. Look at the quarter panel. Oh, stepped in a broken bottle. Watch it, Tony. Let's see if we can recognize this, people. Look at that. Who can tell me what that is? Look at the repair on the quarter panel. The cotton butt. Or is it the lap and rivet? Bit of roughing tire on it then. Well, just sealing it all up. Bit of galvanised tin. That'll never go. Yeah. It's a remembrance of an old 57 Chev. 4-door. Spare tire thing there. Front fender there. The other door's there. One door. But I'm basically to the spot now where all I can do is just look into the woods and you'll see stuff off in the distance. And in almost any direction you look. This was always a cool spot. Go-kart wheels, boys. Ah. Ooh, look, Mercury tailgate. It's a cool piece. Just to watch how bad this is. I'll pick this up here now. That's what you call rust. She's going away nothing there. Leave that alone for someone else to admire. You touch that, it's going to fall apart. Let's go over on this side now and see what we see over here. I don't even know what that is. Floor pan. It is a car of some sort. Let's have a look at the dash. Usually dashes tell stories. Yellow box door, heater switch. Pedals. It's a game for everybody. Can you identify this? There's a truck cab, looks to be. Yeah. Interesting. Just look at the way that's lying on the ground there, look. It's a quarter section. There's the door. And the other door. The door post is there by it. What else can we see? Like everywhere you look, over there in the distance you can see iron. Let's see if we can make our way down to the better stuff. You may be saying the tree's awful dense. How'd they get the cars in here? These cars were here before these trees were. Look at this. Yeah, that's fine. It's a wagon. What is it? Interesting. How can we identify this one? Stand back and look at the quarter panel on it again. It's got the raised bead in it. And the tail lights looks interesting, see? I'm thinking like a Vauxhall or Epic or something like that. That's what I'm thinking it is. Still a bit of snow in the woods. It's in the shade a lot, see? Not a lot. We haven't had much snow this year. I might have used my plow truck 3 times. But now we live in CVS and that's different again. Right? More stuff in through there. Just strolling along, and oh, there you go, bit of iron. Oh, there you go, another bit of iron. A few of you may be asking, so whose property is this? This is the government of Newfoundland's property. We have a lot of land in Newfoundland that is not privately owned. The government owns it all. And we call it crown land. And this is what all the stuff usually ends up on. Undeveloped land, forestries, light and power. All them crowd basically got access to all this stuff, and they just don't want to do nothing with it. It just leaves it alone. You just got it for access roads for different things. This road here in particular, what this was way back when, because I can remember when I first came in here, I say there was 1,000 cars in here. This is where they used to drag the cars that people used to want to get rid of, to get towed away. So if you call a wrecking guy and he came in and charged you $50 to tow away your wreck, this is where it brought you. He brought it in here if you're living around the surrounding areas. Now you can just glance it through here. You can see all the way in through there, trails in front of us. You look way up the distance, you can see stuff. Most of what you see here is 50 stuff and earlier. There's a cool one over here, look. Old Dodge cab. Front has gone off it. Yeah. Dash has gone out of it. That looks to be like a 51 Ford, maybe. There's one behind her. Have a better look at it. Yeah. There's the back end of her there. Sorry for the breathing, boys. I'm an old man. Look at this now. That's seen better days. There was a time I was in there, I looked pretty good. English car course. We were an English colony for a certain while, and then we basically joined Canada in '49, so you will find a lot of English stuff here. This is cool, look at this. It's an old Ford wagon, two-door wagon at that, look. There's a lot of cool cars we had here. 54 maybe? 54 wagon. You guys would know better. This is the better shot over here. Fender off an F100. But you can see the quarter panel on it, look. There was a two-door and a big roof on it, see? I'd love to come across the Chev one like this. I'd like to cut the roof off it and make a wagon. Another project. That's all I need. Another one of them cars. I'm trying to think what the name on them are now. Can't think the names on them. There's a Crosley. They got a name on them. I've have to look them up. I had thoughts of coming in and hauling one of them out of her, making a gasser out of it. Lettering on the old door. There's trails down through here, and you can stroll down through here. An old Buick down here, I think. Down here in the trees. I can't remember yesterday, but I know where all the junk was too in the woods. Full frame. Big old bumper on it. Stuff is long gone now, returning to the earth. It's fertilizer, that's what that is, for trees. More old stuff there. And through there. It's the back of the Buick there. I think it's a Buick. Another car behind it. Remnants of something. Hard to recognize it. Let's make our way out, see what else we can find. Stuff along the trails here everywhere. You accessed this trail before, you had to come from that direction, and the highway wasn't there. It's just in here. Another one of them cars, huh? There's 3 of them in here now. Somebody liked them. Old box off Studebaker. See remembrance of something there. Now this is coming back to me. Spot I've got all the stuff to, I can always remember one major thing about it. And this is what I remember about the spot. Is this huge watering hole. Right? This is where patches come from. This has always been here. And if you look to the woods in here, all in through there, there's cars. Over on this side over here, and through here's a whole lot of cars. Just going around the back there now, and because I won't be crossing that. Down there, about right here somewhere, I think there's a 49 Merc sticking out of the woods. I might take a walk up this trail here now and go up to the other end and have a look and show you the car. It's stuck out of the woods. It's probably, you know, 49 to 51 Mercury. Old Crown Vic. Old 54 Chev, I think. 4-door. Just get the lump on the quarter panels. The bumper in the front of her. See, I would have come in and got that bumper at one point. I always like the bumpers on the 54s. Yeah. Let's make our way down around. Let's look at that, look. She's mint! On top of the door, look. Some of you guys are saying, what are you looking at all? Right. 55 Chev. This is cool. I can remember this. That's 54 delivery. And the back is a big hole in the roof of it, I think. In the back of it. I come in a few times so I cut the roof off of this. And it's far gone now. She had the big back door in her, swing out door. Right. It's a cool old rig. You see the tail light down there, look. This would have been a cool one to get the roof off of. See, I would have liked it for the crowns, but this is all folding around. Like if I just get the crown section of the roof, it would have been good. But I come in here one time, I cleaned all this off, and this is all rusted out, and I need all this here. The trees fell on it. Me dreaming again, of course. What we got over here? Another Ford, looks to be. Let's have a closer look at that old Chev. See if we can have a look at it. Out in the sunlight, it's a beautiful day here today. That's something to fall into today, look. Stuff over there. Here she is again, look. Holes on the side of it. Doorpost, like, it's all gone up around the top sections here. All that is bad. You can see the sides are gone out of it here. Days of scavenging parts on the Avalon Peninsula off these old 50s cars are few and far between now. You leave the Avalon and head to central Newfoundland, you find a lot of this stuff is still salvageable. I can't say the word. Still good. There you go. It's good. It's a cool old rig there. Old Dodge, I think. Cool old bumper. That one in there can stay there. I'll be going into it. But this is a cool rig. See the back window on it, look. And the door top. Still in decent shape. Yeah, top door's good, looks down here, look. She's mint. The chassis in it. A lot of English stuff here. Look at the size of the door over there, look. There she is over there, look. You can see the door on it. The body line of the door don't work. It's amazing how steel has changed. Like, this is off a, I'd say, 60 Chev truck. It's all about the shape of the fender and everything on it. But look at the rust, look. Up in the front there, across the front. And you come over here and look at this thing. That's an older car. It's a different type of irons in the metals, I can tell you that. That's the remnants of like a 49 Ford. How I know that? Because I got tailed off it. This is the area where patches come from. Over around here. This little X frame. A lot of work to get that out. Someone's out. That could have been me, I don't know. Just dreaming of X frames, 32 dube scoops, and all that type of stuff. Nice little fender there, though. A lot of old stuff around here. I don't know how many more times I'll be able to do this because I'm not as young as I used to be. What's this out here? Looks to be an old Nova or Acadian or Pontiac Ventura or something. Yeah, that's what that is. She's got the old wind out vent windows, look, little short cranks. Yeah. Well, it's time to head home out of it now. I'm back out to the old wagon, the wood grain on the side of it. Go up to 302 or whatever it is. Anyway, I'm going to, if you find this stuff interesting, just let me know. I can probably do more of them. It had a lot of fun here today. Nice walk. Got out and enjoyed the countryside. Got to see some old iron in the woods. I don't know if there's any tips in this one. But anyway, until next time. in my shot, boys. You're blocking the hat. Give it up. Forgetting my hair wasn't on my shoulders. Left my hat, my sunglasses hung on the tree, you know. Keep the ears warm.